Now we are going to talk about another topic that's still relevant to the Curaçao and Dutch culture. This topic we will talk about monochronic and polychronic cultures. But before I start with this comparison, I will first briefly explain what we mean by monochronic and polychronic cultures. An important basic assumption of time is what Edward and Mildred Hall will call monochronic and polychronic time. Mono is one, poly meaning many, and chronos meaning time. In monochronic cultures, time is experienced linearly, which means that it goes from the past to the present to the future, easily segmented into blocks of time, which is what we do when we plan our time in our business diaries. Hall and Hall call the compartmentalization. Compartmentalization makes it possible to concentrate on one thing at a time and to plan time. In the northwestern of Europe, it's the norm to keep monochronic time. I will give you a couple of examples from the Netherlands. Come with me. Thank you for coming. As you can see, I'm from Holland. It's always busy in the Netherlands. My laptop, my another laptop, my phone, my another phone, my iPad. But in monochronic culture, we prefer one thing at a time. I'm going to read my book, only my book. In a working situation, you concentrate on your task.
Mag ik jou wat vragen over deze kaas?
Sorry?
Mag ik jou wat vragen over deze kaas?
Kan je niet zien dat ik heel erg druk ben?
Ja.
Ik ben bezig. And not to disturb others. Time is linear. In Holland, we take deadlines and time schedules seriously. Very seriously. As you can see, here is one time schedule from this week, and if I miss one of these appointments, I get problems, serious problems. In the Netherlands, we need explicit information, like this. In Holland, we work swiftly and promptly. We just mentioned a couple of monochronic examples, but now we will talk about polychronic. In Curaçao, people are polychronic. They live in a sea of time. Time moves spatially, in all directions, rather than linearly. Polychronics prefer doing a lot of things at the same time, and are more concerned with people than with planning. In Curaçao, it's more important to let a conversation take the natural course than to interrupt it, because you otherwise be late for an appointment. Time is elastic, and time adjusts itself to your needs. Also due to the weather and high temperatures. Where can we find polychronic cultures? Do you know it? Yes, in Curaçao. Yo boy, welcome to Curaçao. Take a corona from me, come in. And now I will give you some examples from polychronic culture. Here's my office. As you can see, we prefer doing many things at the same time. Yo, Max. Where I am? I'm in my office. An appointment? What do you mean? Ah, I'm sorry. I totally forgot it. Time is spectral. Deadlines and time schedules can be kept to in, if possible.
Yo, Sam,
Yo man,
I need you for a business meeting, man. Do you have some time for me?
I'm just about to leave, but it's good.
Okay,
It's good.
let's go.
Yes. You make plans and change them with the greatest ease and flexibility. I showed you a couple of monochronic and polygonic examples. Now you know the difference, but how do you succeed? By being both. One is not better than the other. Both perfectly function systems. Not compatible, but complementary.
We just discussed the monochronic and polygonic difference of Curaçao in comparison between the Dutch culture. We're now going to talk about a different topic that's still relevant to the Dutch and Curaçao culture. We're going to explain why. It is power distance. Well, what is power distance? Power distance explains why we assume that it's normal that power is distributed equally in our families, at school, or even at work. Or just the opposite, why we assume that it shouldn't be equal. But in Geert Hofstede's words, it is the degree in which the less powerful members of an organization accept that the power is distributed unequally. We distinguish two kinds of power distance. We do have high power distance, and we do have low power distance. Countries with low power distance are the Scandinavian countries, German and German-speaking countries, Britain, and English-speaking countries such as USA, Australia, and New Zealand. Countries with a high power distance are Asia, West Africa, Latin America, and Eastern of Europe. Now we're gonna talk about the difference of power distance in a low power distance country such as Holland, and a high power distance country such as Curaçao. Holland is a low power distance country. Let me explain why. Children are allowed to have an opinion. They may disagree with their parents, but in class they don't have to say,
Excuse me, may I ask you a question, please?
They may just raise their hand and ask, and often without even raising their hand,
Sir, I don't understand number 21. Can you help me?
That's an example of a low power distance country. Hey son, here are the orders. Now you can go back to work.
Thank you.
In Holland, it's not like that at all. Holland, as a low power distance country, you don't have to wait for your supervisor to give you orders. You just take initiative and do it yourself. We just gave a couple of examples of a low power distance. Now I will give you a couple of examples of a high power distance. Therefore, we go across the border to Curaçao. Hello, Dad.
Hello, my son.
Come.
Ah, thank you.
People accept in their superiors, meaning parents, teachers, bosses, or people older than them have more power. Period. Hello, boss. You wanted to talk to me about the work.
Hello, Max. Yes, that's correct.
Oh, I think I did very well at this it's an assignment, don't you think so?
The last assignment was not at a good level, Max.
Why not, man? Let me just interrupt right there. In a high power distance country, you don't even need to argue with your boss. Just not necessary, it's not what you're used to. You don't answer back at your boss for the sake of arguing your opinion. Does not mean you can give any opinion. In Curaçao, you give your opinion, but do it with respect. And sometimes you do it in an indirect way. In a multicultural country such as the Netherlands, there are many different cultures. Antillean, Moroccan, Indonesian, and even with Turkish background. Depending on how long they've been in Holland, they're used to a high power distance at home and a low power distance at work or at school. Sometimes it can be hard to find the right balance and being frank with your superiors without even being rude. Now you know the difference between low power distance and high power distance. We talked about two different topics, monochronic and polychronic cultures and power distance. We hoped that you learned a lot from this documentary and you get a good grade.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
I don't do a lot talking, got a Batmobile, I'm driving, I don't do a lot walking.